The thing that I love about brilliant people is that they can't tell you that they're brilliant. They can't ever say that out loud. Like if somebody were to tell you, don't you know how intelligent I am? You really should heed my words. The conversation would be over, right? Egotism. Ego gets in the way. Is it their ego or yours? You really can't say. But nobody wants to hear from an egotist. What I find most interesting about the work of philosophy is that you have to indulge your ego, right? To detach yourself from this emotional experience. The very thing that makes you human, right? You try to take it out, to view things objectively. As I've researched more into Buddhism, these types of schools of thought, there's always this drive that they always say is to remove the ego, non-attachment, right? Observe your desires and do not indulge them. But your desires are the very same as the experience that you're having or that you want to have. You had no desire, no emotional attachment to people, to the world around you, you'd be inhuman, mindless automaton, they say, right? Eat, sleep, shit, serve your function and nothing else. So it appears, at some degree, of desire and self interest is necessary in order to experience what it is to be human. I was watching a lengthy video from Alan Watts a few days ago about how self improvement is essentially bullshit, right? Because if you are the one that needs to be improved, how could you possibly improve yourself? Self improvement is in itself another design. But the trouble is, the people who take up this work philosophizing, right? Trying to understand why they do what they do. I know people with the gumption, the know how, to actually attempt such a thing as self improvement or improvement of the world around them. Right? Because don't you know, if you would all just listen to me and do as I say you ought to do, the world would be a much better place, right? Let me tell you how to improve yourself. Egotism again. When I was younger, I thought that any reasonable person, intelligence, would opt out of procreation, right? Far too many children being born in the world, not enough reasonable and intelligent people to care for them and bring them up. But at some point, I realized that people were going to procreate anyway. With or without me, the human race would continue to propagate. But these people, many of these people, do what they do without wondering why they do it. They're not involved in the project of philosophy, self improvement. They simply continue to function as they're told to do, and they do what feels good to them. They pursue their desires, reckless abandon. And society tells them that's all right, so long as they play by a certain set of rules. And those people often don't question who makes those rules or why. They abide because they don't have a choice. But it's precisely those people who question who makes the rules and why that are doing the deciding. Those are your masters, egotists, and philosophizers. So it seems that in order to beat the egotist, one must themselves become an egotist. Right? You can't outwit yourself, but you can certainly outwit another human being if you know what you're doing. And even the most brilliant of us are still fallible and human. We're all prone to making mistakes and missteps. There's really no way around that. What we seek for is tomorrow. But this process of improvement can only begin today. You can't do anything in the future until it's arrived. Which is why this emphasis is placed on living in the present moment, focusing on what you can do now. Because you can't change anything in the past, and you can't predict the future. I had many people tell me that what I ought to do is to appeal to a higher authority, to surrender my will to that of another. That as an egotist by nature, that seems impossible for someone like me. So I continue this relentless pursuit to adapt the world to myself. Shaw said, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. And I still believe that's true. So maybe for a time, abandon this pursuit of self improvement. Try to be as I am, accept and understand that ego, rather than constantly trying to change what is. Somebody asked me to make a list of things that I actually had control over. It was a very short list, and everything on that list applied to me and myself alone. I said that I am the only thing that I can control. But that seems to be untrue. At times I do possess power of self control, but often I don't. And for reasons beyond my comprehension, that mask of self control slips. I become one, once again, with my own desires and my ego. Do I want the world to be a better place for everyone? Well, perhaps. But primarily, I want the world to be a better place for me. I want the progress and improvement of my own being. And in order for me to be happy, I have to accept that and allow myself to pursue those ends without struggling. So perhaps the pursuit of purity is the pursuit of self. All right, that's it for me today. Stupid monkey out.